Yuki Tsunoda's struggles within Red Bull's main team continue, despite recent supportive statements from Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, who praised his performance in the latest rounds. Even so, the Japanese driver had one of his worst showings during qualifying at the Barcelona circuit, finishing the session in 20th position. There were no external influences like heavy traffic or unstable weather conditions. Everything suggests that Tsunoda's seat is genuinely under threat, as his presence is negatively affecting Red Bull's points in the Constructors' Championship. Given this, an inevitable question arises. Who would be the most suitable name to share the garage with Max Verstappen? And more importantly, is being promoted to Red Bull truly an advantage for young talents coming from racing bulls? It is evident that Tsunoda's performance on the Catalan track raised serious concerns. Finishing in last place without any issues to justify it falls far below the expectations of the Austrian team. For comparison, just 2 poor performances like this were enough to have Liam Lawson removed from the main team and sent back to Racing Bulls. Taking into account the heavy crash Yuki suffered at the Imola circuit, it becomes clear that he is receiving a certain level of tolerance. But the problems were not limited to qualifying. They were noticeable from the very first practice sessions. Horner even commented that compared to Verstappen, they are unsure what to do to help Tsunoda feel more comfortable behind the wheel. The team principal also revealed that they attempted to improve performance by increasing the aerodynamic load, but this brought no significant gains. According to him, they will need to review the entire approach to try to understand the root of the performance drop. Yuki himself expressed surprise at not being able to extract more from the car. Several radio messages indicated instability in the rear end, with constant lack of grip. While his teammate was fighting for the front rows, Tsunoda was isolated at the back. That will certainly lead to uncomfortable conversations with the team's leadership. If we look at the points Yuki has accumulated since the beginning of the 2025 season, we see that he scored 10 points in 8 rounds. 3 of those came while he was still part of Racing Bulls. What was supposed to be a promotion now feels more like a punishment. Considering the rise of Red Bull's B team and the performance of Arvid Lindblad in Formula 2, it seems evident that if the experience with Yuki doesn't work, he will be out of Formula 1. Speaking about his performance in Barcelona, Tsunoda revealed that he had issues from the start of the activities. Already in the first practice sessions, he was pointing to serious grip problems. The team tried several adjustments, but none of them improved the handling. On the contrary, the changes made the car even more unstable, increasing the driver's frustration. It is a worrying scenario. Expectations around him were high. After all, he spent exactly 5 seasons racing for Red Bull's satellite team. After Pierre Gasly's departure, he managed to outperform names like Daniel Ricciardo and Nyck de Vries and held his own against Liam Lawson. However, when the New Zealander was chosen over him to start the 2025 season, and Tsunoda delivered weak qualifying results and only managed an 8th place in a sprint, it became clear his performance was declining. Another factor that weighs against him is the financial damage caused to the team. He has already generated several costly incidents, directly impacting their position in the Constructors' Championship. If Red Bull wants to stay competitive in that regard, it urgently needs someone with solid performance to fill that second seat. A name like Carlos Sainz would be ideal, but that possibility has already been ruled out. The Spanish driver himself confirmed there were talks but no final agreement. He also mentioned that anyone familiar with Red Bull's internal workings knows why the team declined. Still, he said he holds no grudges. That rejection by Red Bull raises important questions. Everything indicates that the team still does not have a clear solution for its second cockpit. Since Daniel Ricciardo left in 2018, there has not been a truly competitive duo in the team. Names like Pierre Gasly, Alexander Albon, Sergio Pérez, Liam Lawson, and now Yuki Tsunoda have all filled the role, but none managed to solidify their place. Gasly and Albon even showed good performance in other teams. Pérez is close to retirement. Lawson and Tsunoda are still enduring Red Bull's demanding environment. The pressure for results is immense, and no one knows that better than Yuki. Horner has already made it clear that Tsunoda needs to deliver results if he wants to stay with the team. This statement suggests that the situation is tense and changes could happen at any moment. The British team principal also mentioned that Yuki's challenge is even tougher because he shares the garage with Max Verstappen. Although Tsunoda has scored points regularly, if he wants to stay with Red Bull in 2026, he will have to improve significantly. Some journalists found Horner's words evasive and pressed for more details. The team boss then explained that he still sees potential in Yuki, but admits he needs to adapt better. He highlighted some positive aspects, like Tsunoda reaching Q3 and scoring points starting from the pit lane, although he also made mistakes. Confidence, according to Horner, is key when driving these demanding cars, and that is what Tsunoda needs to recover. He believes Yuki is quick, and that, with support and time, he can achieve more consistent results. Behind the scenes, the replacement by Isaac Hadjar is practically a done deal. But will this actually lead to improvement? That second seat at Red Bull now looks more like a career trap. Those promoted end up facing a challenge that ruins their trajectories. And the situation is even worse for Yuki, as he is unlikely to be merely demoted. He may be dismissed entirely. Red Bull's focus is now on Arvid Lindblad. If the upcoming months fail to deliver results, Tsunoda's journey in Formula One might come to an end. You, who follow closely, must be wondering, is the issue really with the driver? How is it possible that after so many years, no one has managed to match Verstappen? Interestingly, all those who failed at Red Bull went on to succeed in other teams. Nico Rosberg, the 2016 world champion, commented that he does not believe the second Red Bull car is easy to drive. He highlighted the massive difference between Verstappen, always near the front, and Tsunoda at the very back despite having the same equipment. That raises serious doubts about technical parity between the cars. David Croft did not hold back either. The Sky Sports commentator suggested that the second seat beside Max is being held by the wrong person. In his analysis, drivers like Lando Norris, George Russell, or Carlos Sainz would handle the current Red Bull model much better. But, as he pointed out, the Austrian team has no intention of hiring them. With all due respect to Tsunoda, who is now the most experienced Japanese driver in Formula One history, he is not yet on the level of Lando Norris. He is a promising driver, but not yet someone capable of winning races. He may get there one day, and we hope he does. But expecting him to stay just 2 or 3 tenths behind Max is extremely demanding. However, given that Red Bull is a team fighting for titles, such demands are not unreasonable for its second driver. Given all this, the question remains, would Isaac Hadjar be making a smart move by accepting Red Bull's invitation? At first glance, it looks like a promotion. But by observing what happened to other young drivers who occupied that seat, waiting a bit longer may be the wiser choice. The team revolves around Max Verstappen, who manages to get the car into positions it does not deserve to be in. It is hard to imagine any other driver placing the current Red Bull car among the top 5 as consistently as the Dutchman does. Now we want to hear your opinion. What do you think of Yuki Tsunoda's current situation at Red Bull? And do you believe the team will promote a third driver within such a short time frame? Share your thoughts in the comments, and as soon as you do that, don't forget to watch the next video already appearing on your screen.